Right now on Good Morning America, first look, breaking overnight, a judge halts the National Guard after the Trump administration tries sending troops across state lines, why Oregon and California are pushing back.
High-stakes talks in Cairo. Delegations from Israel, Hamas, and the U.S. meet as pressure builds for ceasefire and hostage deal.
A massive fire tears through a South Carolina judge's beachfront home. Her family rushed to the hospital as investigators search for the cause.
Former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez charged after a violent late-night stabbing. What police say led up to the fight caught on camera.
New this morning, the simple change at the doctor's office could help prevent thousands of peanut allergies.
From SNL to the Super Bowl stage.
You might not know these, but I'm doing the Super Bowl halftime show.
Bad Bunny firing back at critics after his halftime show announcement sparks backlash.
And Taylor Swift steals the spotlight again with her showgirl movie, Dancing Past the Rock, at the box office.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America, First Look.
Good Monday morning, everyone. I'm Morgan Norwood.
And I'm Victor Okendo. We begin with that breaking news on President Trump's federal crackdown. A Trump-appointed judge delivering a legal blow to the president, again blocking the deployment of National Guard troops to Portland, Oregon, and making it clear that no troops should be sent there, not from California or from any state.
And this comes as officials in Chicago are also pushing back on the president's use of the military in American cities. ABC's Allison Cossack has the latest.
Overnight, a stunning ruling from a federal judge who President Trump himself appointed. U.S. District Judge Karen Emmergut temporarily blocking the deployment of any state's National Guard to Oregon. The decision coming after President Trump defended his decision to deploy federal troops to U.S. cities.
We send in the National Guard. You know what? We send in what's ever necessary. People don't care. They don't want crime in their cities, and we're doing it, and we're doing it well. We're doing it like nobody's ever done it before.
In a heated emergency hearing in an Oregon courtroom Sunday night, Emmergut questioned if the Trump administration had circumvented her order a day earlier that prohibited the deployment of Oregon National Guard troops to Portland. The president instead deployed 200 California National Guard troops to Portland instead of using Oregon's own National Guard. The judge at that time saying the administration's descriptions of chaos in Portland is simply untethered to the facts, adding protests like these at a Portland ICE facility on Saturday were insufficient to federalize the National Guard.
We cannot normalize the approach he is taking with the military in our own country. It's not warranted. It is unlawful. It is un-American.
The ruling is a setback for the president as he seeks to dispatch the military to cities over the objections of their Democratic leaders. Chicago was also a target. The president had authorized 400 National Guard troops to protect federal officers and assets in Chicago against Governor J.B. Pritzker's will. Pritzker blasted Trump's crackdown in his state.
They're raiding neighborhoods where instead of going after the bad guys, they're just picking up people who are brown and black and then checking their credentials.
Washington, D.C. went from a hellhole to a safe place. It took 12 days to solve the problem, 12 days. And we're going to do that in Chicago. We're going to do that in Portland.
California is now joining Oregon and Portland in a federal lawsuit against the Trump administration to stop the deployment of troops to Oregon. The judge's latest ruling means the Trump administration is blocked from sending the California troops to Portland while the lawsuit plays out. Morgan, Victor?
Allison, thank you. Overseas now to those high-stakes talks aimed at ending the war in Gaza. They're getting underway in Egypt today after Hamas agreed to parts of President Trump's peace plan. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio joins us now from Washington. Good morning, Nicole.
Victor, good morning. Talks are set to begin today after Israel and Hamas both say they're ready to discuss a peace deal, but negotiators still have major hurdles to clear.
Just one day before the 2-year anniversary of the attack that ignited the war in Gaza, delegations from Hamas, Israel, and the U.S. will convene in Egypt today for indirect talks. It comes after Israeli airstrikes on Gaza over the weekend, killing dozens, even after President Trump called on Israel to stop the bombings. That demand coming after Hamas agreed to release all remaining hostages. President Trump appearing optimistic ahead of today's talks, but he warned Hamas that it will face complete obliteration if it refuses to give up control of Gaza.
It's a great deal for Israel. It's a great deal for the entire Arab world, Muslim world, and world. So we're very happy about it.
As part of a U.S.-brokered peace proposal, in addition to releasing hostages, Hamas agreeing to hand over the administration of the Gaza Strip to a Palestinian body, with support from Arab nations. In return, Israel would withdraw its military from Gaza completely and release Palestinian prisoners. A deal is not guaranteed. Israel has previously said that Hamas must agree to disarm, but the group has not said it is willing to do so. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says getting Hamas to disarm could pose a real challenge.
There are a lot of opportunities here for whoever wants to sabotage it to do so, and that includes Hamas, by the way, or elements linked to Hamas.
But for many in Israel, there is hope. Over the weekend, families of the hostages rallied in Tel Aviv as Netanyahu said he believed the hostages could be released in the coming days.
When will I see my brothers again? We are suspended between hope and dread. We have lived through Hamas lies before. We cannot let another deal collapse.
And officials say the talks will first focus on logistics over prisoner and hostage exchanges. Trump says he hopes the first phase of the agreement will be completed within a week. Morgan.
Right. Lots of hurdles to clear there. Nicole, thank you. Well, the government shutdown is now in day 6 and neither side is backing down. Democrats insist that Republicans must repeal cuts to Medicaid and extend Obamacare subsidies to keep health care premiums from going up. The Trump administration is threatening mass layoffs and permanent cuts if Democrats don't agree to a short-term GOP funding bill.
I think that if the president decides that the negotiations are absolutely going nowhere, then there will start to be layoffs. But I think that everybody's still hopeful that when we get a fresh start at the beginning of the week, that we can get the Democrats to see that it's just common sense to avoid layoffs like that.
Roughly 4 million federal workers could go without pay. Senators are expected to vote again today on competing bills to reopen the government.
Now to this raging inferno about 40 miles south of Charleston, South Carolina. The fire destroyed a home believed to be owned by a state circuit court judge. Authorities say 3 people were injured. They had to be rescued from the backyard by a kayak. One of them was airlifted to the hospital. Investigators are looking into how it started.
Just devastating. Well, next, former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez is recovering from several stab wounds after a confrontation in Indianapolis. Police are still getting to the bottom of a fight that led to several charges against Sanchez. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
We're learning new details in what prosecutors are calling a physical altercation that sent Fox Sports analyst and former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez to an Indianapolis hospital in critical condition.
We need a marked car to come down to Maryland, right across from the convention center, and lock down this alleyway.
Authorities say the incident unfolded just after midnight Saturday in a downtown alleyway just blocks from Lucas Oil Stadium. Prosecutors allege Sanchez approached a 69-year-old box truck driver and escalated a dispute about the victim's parked vehicle. According to the probable cause affidavit, after Sanchez allegedly shoved the driver believed he was now in physical danger, grabbed his pepper spray, and sprayed Mr. Sanchez in the face. The affidavit says Sanchez again advanced towards the driver, saying the driver thought, "This guy's trying to kill me." So he pulled his knife, and when Mr. Sanchez came at him, ultimately striking him multiple times. Police say when a detective tried to get a statement from Sanchez at the hospital, Mr. Sanchez said he did not know who did this to him or where it happened. Sanchez is now facing multiple criminal charges, including battery resulting in injury, public intoxication, and unlawful entry of a motor vehicle. The Marion County prosecutor saying this incident should never have happened, and as with any case, will follow the facts and the law wherever they lead. The incident addressed during Fox NFL Sunday.
Friday night in Indianapolis, one of our team members, Mark Sanchez, was involved in an incident that, to be honest, we're all still trying to wrap our heads around. At this time, our thoughts and prayers are with Mark, his family, and all those involved.
Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Rena, thank you. President Trump celebrated the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Navy with 10,000 sailors in Norfolk, Virginia. Trump promised that every service member will be paid despite the government shutdown. He himself named himself the Peace President. Trump then closed out by dancing to his theme song, YMCA.
Well, it is another fall scorcher for millions in the eastern U.S. Unseasonable temperatures into the 80s expected today from Chicago to New England. And most of the South gets rain today, including Florida. Time now for your Monday morning weather.
Good morning. We're watching some weather trouble spots over the southeast. High pressure to the north, frontal system off to the south. It's an onshore flow between those two systems. So we have some coastal flood advisories from the Carolinas down to the east coast of Florida, even portions of the Gulf Coast as well. In addition to that, some potential flooding rainfall over the east coast of Florida, upwards of 3 to 5 inches. So some showers, unsettled weather over the southeast. Warm, well above normal in places like New York and Louisville, and then a cold front slicing through parts of the upper Midwest. Meteorologist Jeff Smith, ABC News.
Coming up, an iconic pharmacy closes its doors for good.
Also ahead, the tragedy in the sky after a skydiving instructor got separated from a student.
And new tools at the pediatrician that could help prevent thousands of peanut allergies. Back now with the result of a deadly skydiving mishap in Tennessee over the weekend. A parachutist was stuck in trees for hours before being brought down to safety. Investigators are looking into how he became separated from an instructor as they exited the plane. Authorities say that instructor fell to the ground and died.
We turn now to a new study with major implications for parents, suggesting that simple tools can help pediatricians coach families on how to safely introduce peanuts to young children. The goal? To significantly lower the risk of developing a peanut allergy.
This morning, a new study is offering hope for families concerned about peanut allergies. Research finding a few simple but powerful tools, such as short training videos, electronic reminders, and parent handouts, helped pediatricians give clearer advice on when to safely introduce peanuts to babies.
Millions of people are living today with food allergies, which is very limiting and in some situations dangerous.
Since 2017, national guidelines have urged early peanut introduction to prevent allergies, but surveys find few pediatricians consistently follow these guidelines. The study's authors say this simple approach could prevent thousands of peanut allergies each year.
Now we have an opportunity to prevent peanut allergy, an often lifelong and severe food allergy. And pediatric clinicians are essential to making this happen.
The training videos are meant to educate doctors on how to best navigate peanut allergies with their patients. These handouts for parents include recipes for how to introduce peanut protein to a baby's diet. And electronic prompts like this remind clinicians to evaluate their patient for peanut product information during their 4 or 6 month checkups so they can talk to families about it early. Researchers say starting peanut-containing foods between 4 and 6 months can lower a baby's risk of developing a peanut allergy by more than 80%. With the use of these new tools, the data shows doctors were nearly 15 times more likely to follow allergy prevention guidelines.
And outcomes in the trial will be tracked until children are 2.5 years old to see if the intervention reduces actual peanut allergy prevalence.
After more than 60 years in business, Rite Aid is no more. The final store has officially closed its doors. There were once almost 5,000 Rite Aid pharmacies in the U.S., but years of financial struggles led to 2 recent bankruptcies.
Well, coming up, the nightmare at 1,600 feet. Hundreds of climbers are trapped on Mount Everest.
Also ahead, Bad Bunny takes the stage, hosting SNL just days after his Super Bowl halftime announcement sparked backlash.
We're back now with the life-threatening situation on Mount Everest in Tibet. About 1,000 hikers were trapped on the mountain in a blizzard. Hundreds have already made it to safety. October usually brings large crowds of trekkers to Mount Everest. It's the same system brought rain and deadly landslides to parts of neighboring Nepal.
Bad Bunny kicked off Saturday Night Live's new season and fired back at critics in English and Spanish. Over the weekend, the new season of Saturday Night Live kicking off with host rapper Bad Bunny.
You might not know these, but I'm doing the Super Bowl halftime show.
The Puerto Rican superstar hosting less than a week after being announced as Super Bowl 60's halftime show performer. His selection proving controversial.
I would take Roseanne singing the national anthem again over this guy.
Earlier this year, the 31-year-old announcing he would not be including the U.S. in his latest tour out of fear that the shows would be subject to ICE raids. Some conservatives calling the musician un-American.
It's so shameful that they've decided to pick somebody who just seems to hate America so much.
We have a cross-dresser who doesn't speak English doing the halftime show.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem also weighing in, saying ICE will have a presence at the big game.
So yeah, we'll be all over that place. People should not be coming to the Super Bowl unless they're law-abiding Americans who love this country.
But on Saturday, Bad Bunny poking fun at the controversy.
And I think everyone is happy about it. Even Fox News.
Bad Bunny is my favorite musician, and he should be the next president.
And addressing the audience in Spanish.
Nadie nunca la podrá sacar ni borrar. And if you didn't understand what I just said, you have 4 months to learn.
Well, a White House spokesperson claimed they had not watched the episode, saying, quote, "I have more entertaining things to do, like watch paint dry."
All right, well, coming up from music to movies, Taylor Swift dominates once again.
Plus, the interference in an NFL game that everybody missed. Time to check the pulse, and we begin with the weekend box office.
And Victor, it seems there is no stopping Taylor Swift, no matter the format. So after topping the charts with her new album, Swift is also taking the #1 spot in theaters. This weekend, her album release party film raked in $33 million, and she managed to take down one of the biggest box office stars of all time. The Smashing Machine starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson took a career worst $6 million. Well, next to the NFL, starting with the Titans' unlikely comeback against the Cardinals.
The Cardinals could have sealed the win by 15 points if their running back hadn't dropped the ball somehow before getting into the end zone. The Titans took possession, they scored. Then later on, a Cardinals interception was fumbled. That turned into another touchdown. The Titans kicked the winning field goal as time expired to win 22-21. Also, the Vikings missed a field goal against the Browns when the ball hit a camera cable. It didn't cost Minnesota, though. They won 21-17.
Well, next, hundreds of New Yorkers brought their beloved pets to Sunday service.
It was the Episcopal Church's annual blessing of the animals. So you had dogs, bunnies, turtles, birds. They all flocked to St. John the Divine here in New York. Even snakes and owls were welcome.
All are welcome in the house of the Lord.
Be right back. Checking more of our top stories. A judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration from deploying the National Guard to Portland from any state. The late-night ruling followed an administration attempt to send troops from California.
The Supreme Court kicks off a new term today, facing major cases on presidential power. The justices will hear arguments on the legality of President Trump's tariffs, his firing of Democratic members of independent federal agencies, and his executive order to end birthright citizenship.
Utah's first big snowfall of the season brought the plows out to clear the roads across mountain passes. Park City and other ski resorts reporting significant accumulations of heavy, wet snow, and they expect to open next month.
Speaking of weather, today's weather, heavy rain and rough surf in the southeast could cause coastal flooding, and rain cools things off in the upper Midwest and the plains.
And finally here now, the two women who really know their cheese.
They've got some new awards to prove it. Here's Danny New.
American history was just made at what you might call the Olympics of cheese.
I was like, am I dreaming?
Amelia and Courtney here just became the first American duo to reach the podium for the Mondial du Fromage. Amelia took first place and Courtney took third in this international contest that meets in France every 2 years to crown the world's best cheesemonger. What's that?
Basically the cheese equivalent of a sommelier.
For almost a year, these two already certified cheese professionals studied for hours a day. Courtney says she handwrote more than 1,000 flashcards, and Amelia had to buy a second fridge to store all of her cheese samples.
There was a lot of blind tasting practice, having people make blind tastings for us.
Once they qualified and arrived in France, Amelia and Courtney had to complete 9 challenges over the course of around 8 hours.
It's noticeable visually, to the touch.
This included an oral presentation, blind tasting, a contest to cut 4 exactly half-pound cheese samples, and even a written test that I attempted to field a question from.
What are the exact dates that the cheese Lativa can be made in Switzerland?
June. But their coup de grace to seal their medals was perhaps the cheese sculpture and plateau du fromage, which is a 100-centimeter square display following the theme Shades of Color.
Cook the USA!
And after months and really years of training, these two best friends came out on top together, and there were tears. They said they are proud to have achieved this for America and want folks to understand that the ultimate role of a cheesemonger is...
Our goal is just to make your mouth happy with cheese.
As far as happy feelings go, cheese in my mouth, pretty high.
Yes, absolutely.
Guys, I did ask them both their favorite kinds of cheese, and I knew about half of them. They did express their love for Italian cheeses, specifically Pecorinos and Parmesan. Ditto.
And that's your Good Morning America First Look.
Have a great day.